कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना। यमुनातीरावनचारी। यमुनातीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना। यमुनातीरावनचारी। यमुनातीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस AC भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासद गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, The Glories of Devotional Service, text number 20. Prasangam ajaram pasham, prasangam ajaram pasham, prasangam ajaram pasham, atmanaha kavayaha viduhu, atmanaha kavayo viduhu, atmanaha kavayo viduhu, saha eva sadhushu kritaha sayeva sadhushu krito, sayeva sadhushu krito, moksha dvaram apavritam, moksha dvaram apavritam, moksha dvaram apavritam, prasangam ajaram pasham, atmanaha kavayo viduhu, sayeva sadhushu krito, mokshadvaram apavritam, prasangam ajaram pasham, atmanaha kavayo viduhu, sayeva sadhushu krito, mokshadvaram apavritam. Prasangam, attachment. Ajaram, strong. Pasham, entanglement. Atmanaha, of the soul. Kavayaha, learned men. Viduhu, no. Saha eva, that same. Sadhushu, to the devotees. Kritaha, applied. Mokshadvaram, the door of liberation. Apavritam, opened. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. Kindly repeat. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here, it is clearly stated that attachment for one thing is the cause of bondage in conditioned life. And the same attachment, when applied to something else, opens the door of liberation. Attachment cannot be killed, it has simply to be transferred. Attachment for material things is called material consciousness, and attachment for Krishna or his devotee is called Krishna consciousness. Consciousness, therefore, is the platform of attachment. It is clearly stated here that when we simply purify the consciousness from material consciousness to Krishna consciousness, we attain liberation. Despite the statement that one should give up attachment, desirelessness is not possible for a living entity. A living entity, by constitution, has the propensity to be attached to something. We see that if someone has no object of attachment, if he has no children, then he transfers his attachment to cats and dogs. This indicates that the propensity for attachment cannot be stopped. It must be utilized for the best purpose. Our attachment for material things perpetuates our conditional state, but the same attachment, when transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee, is the source of liberation. Here it is recommended that attachment should be transferred to the self-realized devotees, the sadhus. And who is a sadhu? A sadhu is not just an ordinary man with a saffron robe or long beard. A sadhu is described in Bhagavad-gita as one who unflinchingly engages in devotional service. Even though one is found not to be following the strict rules and regulations of devotional service, if one simply has unflinching faith in Krishna, the Supreme Person, he is understood to be a sadhu. Sadhureva samantavyaha. A sadhu is a strict follower of devotional service. It is recommended here that if one at all wants to realize Brahman or spiritual perfection, his attachment should be transferred to the sadhu or devotee. Lord Chaitanya also confirmed this. Lava matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhihaya. Simply by a moment's association with a sadhu, one can attain perfection. Mahatma is a synonym of sadhu. It is said that service to a Mahatma or elevated devotee of the Lord is Dvaramahur Vimuktehe, the royal road of liberation. Mahat Sevam Dvaramahur Vimuktes Tamodwaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam. Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, verse number 2. Rendering service to the materialists has the opposite effect. If anyone offers service to a gross materialist or a person engaged only in sense enjoyment, then by association with such a person, the door to hell is opened. The same principle is confirmed here. Attachment to a devotee is attachment to the service of the Lord, because if one associates with a sadhu, the result will be that the sadhu will teach him how to become a devotee, a worshipper, and a sincere servitor of the Lord. These are the gifts of a sadhu. If we want to associate with a sadhu, we cannot expect him to give us instructions on how to improve our material condition, but he will give us instructions on how to cut the knot of the contamination of material attraction and how to elevate ourselves in devotional service. That is the result of associating with a sadhu. Kapila Muni, first of all, instructs that the path of liberation begins with such association. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namavo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Mande Shri Gurum Deenataranam. Few days back, there was a news about an ex-Prime Minister of Netherlands. Netherlands is a country which ranks 5th in the world's global happiness index. In the world, they rank the countries based on different parameters about what is the kind of happiness that the citizens of that country can enjoy. In that, Netherlands ranks 5th. That means people are very happy there. Now this ex-Prime Minister of Netherlands, so you can imagine, all the common citizens are considered to be very, very happy there. In fact, in the world, 5th happiest people in Netherlands. And in that country, imagine the Prime Minister. So, real high level of happiness he must have enjoyed. This Prime Minister, his name is Dries. And now, he was Prime Minister long back in 1977 to 82 or something like that. Now he had become 93 years old. He and his wife, Eugenie, both of them were more or less of the same age. Both were 93 years. Couple of years back, this Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister, Dries, he had a brain hemorrhage. And so he was invalid and lying down, and wife was taking care. All that was going on. Finally, the husband and wife, they made a petition to the government that this man is unable to tolerate the pain, the distress, having to lie down like this, cannot do anything, became invalid, so much pain in the body, 93 years old. They made a request to the government that they both want to die together. And the permission was sought so that they could die an assisted death, both of them together, because they didn't want to be separated. And the government also agreed. Why? Because in Netherlands, it's a common affair. In 1 year, about almost 8,000 people like this died in an assisted death, because the husband and wife, or the man and the woman, they don't want to be separated by death. One of them is suffering a lot, and he wants to die, and the spouse also doesn't want to live independent of the if the other spouse dies. So both of them agree that we will die together, and the government facilitates. Some doctor will come, they will have some procedure by which quickly they will be put to death. So you can imagine a country which ranks the 5th highest on the happiness index, ex-Prime Minister of that country, and he has come to such a state, he is saying, I don't want to live anymore, and his wife is also saying, I also don't want to live anymore. Both of them wanted to die together. And eventually the government also accepted, facilitated, and they actually went ahead and committed suicide together. Of course, they don't call it suicide, they call it assisted death. So some people, they are advocates of this. They say a person is suffering so much, so we have to show compassion to the suffering person and end the suffering by allowing him to die, by assisting him to die. Of course, this is not a legal thing in many countries, but in Netherlands it is a legal thing. Now contrast this. So some people may say that yes, it may appear a little logical also. That man, 93 years old, bedridden, invalid, what he will do? Anyway, very close to death. Better let him die. So, if we have material attachment, if we have material aspirations, and if we have a lot of material enjoyment, then the end result will be like this. Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita in the 18th chapter, 37th verse, Yattad agre vishamiva pariname amritopamam tad sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. Krishna says that that which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. So, happiness in the mode of goodness, in the beginning it appears like poison, but in the end the result will be very beneficial. On the other hand, when we are attached to material sense gratification, the beginning appears like nectar, which is like when this man was the Prime Minister of Netherlands. He must have been very happy. I have become Prime Minister of this country. Everybody, all the citizens in this country are very happy, and I have become their leader. He must have been very happy. And in the end, what happened? He became so distressed, I don't want to live anymore, I want to die. Beginning like nectar, end like poison. This is happiness in the mode of ignorance, or happiness in the mode of passion. When Rajoguna, in the mode of passion, in the mode of Rajoguna, when we have lot of impetus for engaging in sense gratification, I have to enjoy life, then what happens? In the beginning, it will be like nectar, it will be very nice. But in the end, it will be full of pain and distress. But there is another kind of happiness, which when we engage in the beginning, it will appear like so much distress, so much difficulty, so much tapasya, so much austerity we have to take. But in the end, it will be like nectar. So, if we contrast this with another great personality, his name was Madhavendra Puri. This Madhavendra Puri was initiated by Lakshmipati Tirtha, who came in the Madhva Sampradaya. So this Madhavendra Puri was a sannyasi who lived in the 15th century. Some people say he was born in 1420 AD, and he lived for many years. He lived for a good number of years. And he was such a great personality, he initiated Advaita Acharya and Ishvara Puri. Ishvara Puri later on went on to become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's spiritual master. Now this Madhavendra Puri was a very exalted devotee. He was the first person in the Madhva Sampradaya to exhibit symptoms of Shri Krishna Rukmini Satyabhama ki. The symptoms of viraha, or separation from Krishna. Madhavendra Puri, he lived for a long time, and in his old age, he also became invalid. So much so that he was lying on the bed, he was not able to move. And Ishvara Puri would every day take care of him. He would clean his stool, he would feed him with whatever food was required. Whatever necessities, bodily necessities were there, everything in a very menial way, Ishvara Puri was taking care. And this Madhavendra Puri, towards his last days, what was his consciousness? Because he is a sannyasi, a devotee, a Vaishnava. On one hand, we have the ex-Prime Minister of Netherlands, very affluent country, 5th on the happiness index. When he became invalid, he was in so much distress, I want to die, I want to die. Now, Madhavendra Puri also became invalid. And when he became invalid, he would lie on his bed and he would keep crying. Why was he crying? He was also crying, too much pain, let me die. No. He would cry and he would go on repeating one verse. This verse was actually spoken by Radharani. When Krishna left Vrindavan and went to Mathura, Akrura came and took away Krishna. At that time, Radharani was feeling intense separation from Krishna. Oh Krishna, I am not able to see Krishna. Because every day the gopis were used to seeing Krishna. In the morning, Krishna will take the cows and take them for grazing in Vrindavan forest. And in the morning when he is taking the cows, the gopis would all come out of their houses and see Krishna going. Krishna's lotus face. And then in the evening, every day in the evening, Krishna would bring the cows back from grazing. And when he would come in the evening, they would all come back and they would watch the lotus face of Krishna. So they were used to seeing the lotus face of Krishna every day. And once Krishna went to Mathura, they were not able to see. So Radharani, when she was not able to see Krishna, she recited one verse, which Madhavendra Puri would keep on repeating in his old age. Ai Deena Dayardranatha He Mathuranatha Ai Deena Dayardranatha Mathuranatha Kadavalokyase. Madhavendra Puri recited this verse, which says, Ai Deena Dayardranatha. Oh Krishna, Krishna is Deena Dayardranatha. He is the Lord or the only shelter for the Deena, for the people who are bereft of everything else. For the meek and the humble, Krishna is the only shelter. Deena Dayardranatha. Mathuranatha. Hey Mathuranatha. Oh Krishna, now you have become Mathuranatha. You are the Lord of Vrindavana. Now you have gone to Mathura. You have killed Kamsa and you have become Mathuranatha. You have become the Lord of Mathura now. And because of your going to Mathura, what has happened? That Kadavalokyase, I am not able to see you. I am waiting, when will I be able to see you? You have gone away from Vrindavan to Mathura. Now I am waiting, when will I see you? And Hridayam Twadaloka Kataram, my Hridaya, my heart, Aloka Kataram, because of intense eagerness to see you, Daita Brahmyati Kim Karomyaham. Daita, oh my dear Krishna. Daita means one who is very dear. Oh my dearmost Krishna, what is happened? Hridayam, my heart, Twadaloka Kataram is intensely eager to see you. Because I am not able to see you, you have gone off to Mathura. And because of that, what happened? Brahmyati, my mind is getting bewildered. I am not able to think properly, I am not able to talk properly, I am not able to do anything properly. Kim Karomiham, I am totally bewildered, I don't know what to do. So this is Radharani's cry of separation from Krishna. Madhavendra Puri would keep on repeating this verse until he left his body. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is stated, Madhavendra Puri attained perfection simply by reciting this one verse. So you see, on the one hand, you have somebody who is materially very attached. And what happens when he becomes invalid, he becomes old, his body becomes racked by pain, he is thinking, let me die. On the other hand, a great saint like Madhavendra Puri, he also in his old age became invalid. His body also must have been racked with pain. But he is not thinking, when will I die? How will I get rid of this pain? He is thinking, when will I see Krishna? Whole life I have spent uselessly without serving Krishna. I am waiting, when will I see Radharani? When will I see Krishna? When will I go to Goloka Vrindavan? With great eagerness, he is looking forward to seeing Krishna. So this is the effect as it is mentioned in today's verse. What is it stated here in the 20th verse? Ajaram Pasam, Prasangam Ajaram Pasam. The attachment in the material world, Ajaram Pasam, is a very strong rope. And that material attachment, the strong rope of material attachment, what it will do? It will Pasam Atmanaha Kavayo Viduhu. It will bind us. It is the source of entanglement for the spirit soul. On the other hand, Saeva Sadhu Shukritaha, because we cannot be free from attachment. We have to be, our nature, our intrinsic nature is to become attached to somebody or the other, somebody or something. Because we have consciousness. Prabhupada mentions in the purport, consciousness is the platform of attachment. An unconscious dead piece of steel like this or plastic, it can have no attachment to anything. Whereas anybody who is conscious will become attached. You will see even in animals, there will be one she-dog, it would have given birth to a litter of puppies, and it will be licking them, taking care of them, feeding milk to them. And when the dog has given birth to puppies, at that time you cannot go close to the dog. If you go close, she will immediately start growling, she will come and bite you. Why? So much attachment. My puppies, my children, you should not come near them. I don't want you harming them. So much attachment. Even animals have attachment. You can see monkeys. They'll be sitting, one mother monkey will be sitting on some branch of some tree, and there'll be one baby monkey, and the baby monkey will be tightly clinging on to the mother. So much attachment. This attachment is there in all living entities. Even human beings also display this attachment. Now this attachment, if it is on the material platform like animals, even in the human society, what happens? The human being will become entangled in the cycle of repeated birth and death within this material world, and he will only experience distress. Whereas that same attachment, which you cannot become free from, instead of trying to negate it, instead of trying to stop that feelings of attachment, if we transfer it to devotees, sayeva sadhushu krito, if we transfer it to Krishna or the devotees of Krishna, what will happen? Mokshadvaram apavritam. So the door for liberation becomes opened. And Prabhupada quotes the 5th canto, Srimad-Bhagavatam, 1 verse, Mahat sevam dvaramahur vimuktes tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam mahantaste samachittaha prashanta vimanyava suhrudah sadhavo ye. Mahat sevam dvaramahur vimuktehe. Mahat seva, if we become attached to the service to the lotus feet of Mahatmas or pure devotees, then dvaramahur vimuktehe, the door for liberation becomes opened. On the other hand, if we become attached to material things, what will happen? Tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam. If we become attached to people who are attached to yoshit or women, then the door for hell is opened up. What it actually means is, yoshit means woman. In the Vedic scriptures it is stated, yoshit sangi. If somebody is attached to a woman, he is called a yoshit sangi. And association of a person who is attached to a woman is door for hell. Why? What is the mistake of women? What mistake did the women do? So women did not do any mistake. Yoshit sangi means a man who associates with a woman thinking that the woman is an object of happiness for me. That means anybody who objectifies a woman, that she is an object of happiness for me, then such a person, if you associate with him, the door for hell is opened. In the material world, everybody is attached to sense gratification. And the pinnacle of that attachment to material enjoyment is displayed when a man considers a woman as an object of his sense gratification. So therefore, such a person, if you associate with, you will also develop similar attachment. You will also develop the desire to enjoy materially, which will, again, ajaram pasam atmanaha, it will only bind you strongly to this cycle of repeated birth and death. The same attachment, when it is mahat sevam, when it is attached to the same consciousness, when it's attached to the service of the lotus feet of pure devotees, the path for liberation is open. And the same propensity of attachment, when it is invested in material sense gratification, the door to hell is opened up. And what is the symptom of such Mahatmas? Should they be having a long beard, wearing long robes and all that? No. Mahantaha samachittaha, prashanta. Such great Mahatmas, they are prashanta, they are always very peaceful. Peaceful means what? Sitting silently like this. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. No. Peaceful means mind is not agitated by desires for sense gratification. One has renounced the material world. Real Mahatma means he cannot be mouthing some big verses and talking about Vedanta Sutra and some big philosophy and then engaging in sense gratification and encouraging his followers also in sense gratification. You come to me, I will give you some philosophy, some formula by which you can enjoy very happily. No, that means you are not prashanta, your mind has not become peaceful. Your mind is constantly agitating, finding out various ways and means how I can enjoy in the material world. Prashanta means you have given up all connection with the material world. No more sense gratification. You have become peaceful, that I have no desire for any sense gratification. These allures of Maya are not going to affect me. That is real Mahatma. Prashanta samachittaha. And such great devotees, they are samachittaha. They are they have an equal vision towards all living entities. They do not treat someone very highly and they do not make distinctions on the basis of the body. Samachittaha prashanta vimanyavaha. They are free from anger. Anger, what kind of anger? So that way if you look at Hanuman, Hanuman also became very angry. So does that mean he is not a Mahatma? Vimanyavaha, free from anger, means free from anger arising out of frustrations of one's desires to enjoy in sense gratification. There are two kinds of anger. One anger is when we have big desires for sense gratification, and when that becomes obstructed, we become angry. Like Ravana. Ravana wanted to enjoy Sita, and when that was obstructed, Hanuman came and prevented him, Rama came and prevented him, he became very angry. I will fight you, I will kill you. Hanuman also became angry. Hanuman did not become angry because he wanted to enjoy Sita. Hanuman became angry because Ravana wanted to enjoy Sita independent of Rama. Hanuman wanted to see that Rama and Sita are together. And because Ravana was trying to separate them, Hanuman became angry. So Hanuman became angry when the service to his Supreme Lord Rama became obstructed. So that kind of anger, if someone displays, he becomes a Mahatma. Therefore, Hanuman is worshipped. Ravana is not worshipped. Why? Because he also displayed anger. But he was angry because his sense gratification was being obstructed. So his anger came out of frustration of his material desires. That kind of anger one should give up. So Vimanyavaha, Mahatmas or sadhus are free from anger arising out of frustration of one's sense gratification. So Vimanyavaha. So these great personalities, devotees, they have to be free from all material desires. They have to be disconnected from sense gratificatory activities. They have to be equipoised to all living entities, means they have to display compassion and try to not encourage others in sense gratification. Okay, I am not engaged in sense gratification. I am a sadhu, I am a sannyasi, but I will give you blessings by which you can enjoy. No, we have to be samachitta. A devotee has to be samachitta, means he has equal vision. I am enjoying the bliss of Krishna consciousness. Others should also enjoy the same bliss. They should not be engaged in the process of sense gratification, which is simply atmanaha ajaram pasam, by which they will become entangled in the cycle of repeated birth and death. This is samachittaha. Such great pure devotees, when we become attached to them, that kind of attachment to the pure devotee becomes the door for liberation. The same thing is mentioned by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted a verse which is mentioned in the Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka. It says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that for a devotee or a person who is mukshu, who is desiring to become free from the bondage to repeated birth and death, param param jigamishore, one who wants to cross over the ocean of birth and death, nishkinchanasya bhagavad bhajanonmukhasya, one who is nishkinchana, one who has renounced the material world and who has no other desire in his heart, bhagavad bhajanonmukhasya, and who is engaged in devotional service to Krishna, param param jigamishore bhavasagarasya, why he is become nishkinchana and he is engaged in bhagavad bhajanonmukha, why he is engaged in devotional service to Krishna, because param param jigamishore bhavasagarasya, he wants to cross over the bhavasagara, the ocean of repeated birth and death. For such a person, param param jigamishore bhavasagarasya, what is that verse? Next line. Nishkinchanasya bhagavad bhajanonmukasya param param jigamishore bhavasagarasya sandarshanam yoshitam sangi sangam ha hanta hanta vishabhakshanatopi asadhu. For such a person, to even sandarshanam, even to see or to meet a person whose goal in life is sense gratification, again the word yoshitam sangi sangam, the same word is used. Sandarshanam yoshitam sangi sangam, to meet with or to even see a person who is attached to sense gratificatory activities, vishabhakshanatopya sadhu, it is worse than drinking poison. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu make this statement? Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, the king, Prataparudra, he wants to meet you. The moment Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he closed his ears and he said, Sarvabhauma, what is this I am hearing from you? I am a sannyasi. I am engaged in devotional service to Krishna. And you want me to meet the king? This is worse than drinking poison. You see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so strict. Even though King Prataparudra was such a great devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said still he is engaged in sense gratificatory activities because he is a king. A king cannot avoid it. Royal life means there will be so much opportunity for sense gratification. You cannot avoid it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, such a person I don't want to see, even if he is a devotee. So why? Because to meet with such a person means if you associate with such a person, you will also develop the taste for sense gratification. You will also develop a desire. So nicely he is enjoying. He is wearing such nice silk cloths and I am wearing some one old cotton kurta and only one color I can wear, either saffron or white. And this man every day can change the colors, one day yellow, one day green, one day something else. So nice. I can wear only one color. So that desire for sense gratification will awaken in the heart. And so therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said one must strictly avoid. Why? Because even a little association with such a person, even if you meet such a person even once, then what happens? Tamodwaram yoshitam sangi sangam. Such a meeting, such an association will open the doors to hell. The Katyayana Samhita also, which is quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that also says a similar thing. That hutavaha jwala panjarantar vyavastitihi varam hutavaha jwala panjaranta vyavastitihi. It is better to be panjarantaha, be inside a cage, be locked inside a cage, and hutavaha jwala, and that cage is surrounded by burning fire. Will anybody want to be in such a situation? You are locked into a cage, you are put into a cage, iron cage, surrounded on all sides, and surrounding the cage there is a huge fire which is burning. Any of us wants to be in that condition? Katyayana Samhita is stating, it's better to be in that condition than Shauri Chinta Vimukha Samvasa Vaisasam, than to be Vaisasam, be in the calamity, catastrophe, than to be faced with the calamity of Shauri Chinta Vimukha Samvasam, to associate with people who are Shauri Chinta Vimukha, who are averse to hearing about the activities or the wonderful pastimes of Shauri. Who is Shauri? The son of Shurasena is, so the one who is a descendant of Shurasena is called Shauri, which is referring to Krishna. Because Shurasena's son is Vasudeva, Vasudeva's son is Krishna. So Krishna is called Shauri, a descendant of Shurasena. So Shauri Chinta Vimukha, to associate, Samvasa, to associate with Shauri Chinta Vimukha, to associate with those who are averse to hearing about the pastimes of Krishna, that is such a great calamity. Vaisasam, it is such a great calamity that better than to be in such association is to be put into a cage which is surrounded by blazing fire. Why? Because if you associate with such persons, Tamodwaram Yoshitam Sangye Sangam, the door to hell is opened up. So one may question, if I become attached to some materialistic person, you are saying the door to hell is opened. And if I become attached to a devotee, you are saying door for liberation is opened. How? Both is attachment? No. Whether it is attachment to this person or that person, how does it matter? Attachment is attachment. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Dussangam utsrajya satsu sajjeta puman. The same thing is again repeated. One should give up dussanga. What is dussanga? Association with persons who are engaged in sense gratification. One should give up such association. Satsu sajjeta puman. One must seek the association with pure devotees. Why? Because Santa evasya chindanti mano vyasanga muktibihi. Such Santa, such great pure devotees, what they will do? Santa evasya mano vyasangam. That attachment of the mind to material sense gratification, chindanti, they will cut it off. The pure devotees, if you associate with pure devotees, they will cut off your ajaram pasam. They will cut off your attachment, which is the source of your going to hell. How will they cut off that attachment? By ukti bihi, by their words, by their instructions. By their instructions, they will cut off our attachment, manovyasangam, our attachment to sense gratification. That propensity to engage in sense gratification itself will be removed by the uktibihi, by the words of such great pure devotees. Therefore, we have to positively seek out the association of pure devotees, and simultaneously we must avoid the association of worldly minded people. This is the injunction of the scriptures. So, when we say that we have to associate with Mahatmas, Mahat Sevam Dwaramahuhu, that the door for liberation is opened when we associate with Mahatmas, pure devotees. What does that association mean? Association means Uktibihi, we have to associate with the instructions of that pure devotee. We have to become attached to following the instructions of the pure devotee. It is not some sentiment in the heart. Oh, I have a lot of devotion for Prabhupada. I am very much attached to Prabhupada. But when it comes to instructions of Prabhupada, you are not willing to follow. That is not called association with a pure devotee. Prabhupada said, one must follow the four regulative principles. We must strictly follow the four regulative principles. Prabhupada said, one must chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. One must without fail every day chant a minimum of 16 malas. This is real association. This is developing real attachment to a pure devotee. Prabhupada says that we must follow the Ritvik system of initiation in ISKCON. No, I am attached to Prabhupada, but I will not follow that instruction. That is not called attachment to Prabhupada. Oh, I am so attached to Prabhupada. I read Prabhupada's books. I follow all whatever Prabhupada said. I am very attached to Prabhupada. But one instruction of Prabhupada says in the July 9 letter, no more successors, only Ritviks. No. That I cannot follow. Then where is your attachment for Prabhupada? You are constantly every day doing Guru Puja for Prabhupada. You are singing every day Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. And when Prabhupada instructs you follow this, you are saying, no, I will not follow. Then what is the meaning of all this glorification? If you are really glorifying Prabhupada, if you are really attached to Prabhupada, then follow his instruction. Following his instruction is the display of your attachment to Prabhupada. If you say that, yes, Prabhupada is everything for me, Prabhupada is my primary Shiksha Guru, Prabhupada is my this one, that one, all those kind of things. But instructions, no, I will not follow. This is hypocrisy. When a pure devotee like Prabhupada has said something, if you are attached to Prabhupada, no question of thinking anything else. Prabhupada has said means I have to follow. That's all, over. No consideration, no what about tradition, what about other sampradayas, no our sampradaya is Diksha sampradaya, Shiksha sampradaya, no such consideration. Your attachment to Prabhupada, no, follow, over. You look at all the Vrajavasis. Krishna came and told Nanda Maharaj and all the Vrajavasis, let us stop Indra Yajna, let us worship Govardhan. What did the Vrajavasis do? Krishna is told, let us do it, no matter what the consequences. Indra became so furious, he rained down thunder, lightning, everything. Did the Vrajavasis go and tell Krishna, see, we followed you, what is all this happening? No. Indra may rain down fury, he may kill us, whatever it is. We will follow Krishna. This is attachment. No questioning. They did not question Krishna. No, you will be breaking tradition. No, how can you do this? Where is the injunction in the Shastra to worship Govardhana? There is no prior precedence of anything like that. What is the Siddhanta? Nothing. Krishna told, over, we will do it. This is called attachment. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau. As much as attachment you have for Krishna, similar attachment has to be there for Guru. So similar attachment we have to have for Prabhupada. Prabhupada has said do this, over. No consideration of Shastra, no consideration of logic, no consideration of Siddhanta, no consideration of tradition. Prabhupada has said you have to follow the Ritvik system of initiation. Period, over, finished. If you are attached, if you have even the slightest of attachment to Prabhupada, you cannot question it. You have to simply blindly follow it. That's it. To such a person, what happens? Mahatsevam dvaramahur vimuktehe. The door for vimukti will get opened up. Simply the door for vimukti will not open up. Such a serious thing it is. Door for liberation, going back to Godhead. Unless you have unflinching faith in a pure devotee, you cannot go back to Godhead. Unflinching faith means what? Whatever instruction that pure devotee gives, you should be ready to follow without a questioning. That is called unflinching faith. And that unflinching faith and attachment if you have, then only, as he is saying, Kapiladeva is saying, Moksha dvaram apavritam dvaramahur vimuktehe. The door for liberation and going back to Godhead gets opened up. Until we develop that attachment, such strong attachment to Prabhupada's lotus feet, whatever Prabhupada instructs, I will follow. Without any consideration. Unflinchingly I will follow. Until we come to that stage, we cannot go back to Godhead. So, we have to become very strict in following the instructions of Prabhupada. We have to develop attachment to following the instructions of Prabhupada. And that, as in the previous verse, in the 19th verse, Kapiladeva spoke about Brahma Siddhi. He said, Na yujyamanaya bhaktya bhagavatyakilatmani sadrishosti shiva pantha yoganam Brahma Siddhaye. To achieve Brahma Siddhi, one must engage in Bhakti Yoga. And in Bhakti Yoga also, to come to the state of Brahma Siddhi, what is required? Sadhushukritaha prasangam. One has to become attached to a sadhu, to a pure devotee. Without attachment to a pure devotee, there is no question of devotional service. There is no question of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti yoga means you have to become attached to a pure devotee. And attachment means what? You have to follow unflinchingly the instruction of the spiritual master. So unless you unflinchingly come to this, unless you come to the state of unflinchingly following the instructions of the spiritual master, there is no attachment. And unless there is attachment to a pure devotee, devotee spiritual master, there is no question of bhakti yoga. And if there is no bhakti yoga, there is no Brahma Siddhi, there is no perfection. So if you want to perfect your spiritual life, if you want Brahma Siddhi and you want to go back to Godhead, then only way is you have to develop attachment, or you have to unflinchingly follow the instructions of Prabhupada. Simple conclusion this is. So therefore, and this is being advocated by whom? By not an ordinary person. It is being advocated by the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila Deva. So this is a very big science and very big secret also. We cannot approach Krishna directly, and we cannot achieve love of Godhead, we cannot go back to Godhead unless we develop attachment to the lotus feet of a pure devotee. That is why Bhagavatam also repeatedly is saying, Mahat Sevam Dwaramahur. Mahat Seva, you have to render service to the lotus feet of a Mahatma, of a pure devotee. Yasya Deve Parabhaktir Yatha Teve Tatha Gurau. You have to develop as much unflinching faith in a pure devotee as you have in Krishna. Then only you can hope to go back to Godhead. And as Kapila Deva is also saying, Sayeva sadhu shukrata prasangaha mokshadvaram apavritam. So everywhere the Shastras are very clear. We have to become attached to the lotus feet of a pure devotee. Attachment to the lotus feet of a pure devotee means we have to become attached to serving the instructions of the spiritual master. So this is very important. And the beginning of such attachment to following the instructions of the spiritual master is to become attached to executing our day-to-day services. We have to become attached to our services. This is the service which I have been given. We may have a certain system in the temple. We have a service list which is put up on the notice board and all those kind of things. But the devotee who is reading that service list, how does he look at it? Something, every day I have to do something, they are putting up on the notice board. One big animal is sitting there on that seat, is called the temple commander. Every day, every week he'll put up one list, and I have to struggle. I have to go wash the pots, clean this one. He is sitting happily in his AC office and he is putting the list. I have to do all the struggling. No. Anyway, somehow I have to do it. That should not be the mood of the devotee. When you look at the list, what is your consciousness? This is the service which is ordained to me by my spiritual master Prabhupada. Today, this is the service that Prabhupada wants me to do. And so, this is Mahat Seva. I am doing assistant pujari, I am doing an assistant cook, or I am going out collecting money, or I am going folk preaching, I am doing some activity or the other, I am cooking in the kitchen, whatever activity, whatever service I am doing. When we start that service, we should remember, this is my Mahat Seva, this is my service to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. And in that consciousness, you look at your assigned service, then what happens? Dvaramahur vimuktehe. The door for liberation gets opened up. Mokshadvaram apavritam. So unless this consciousness comes, and if this consciousness comes, we will get attached to Prabhupada. This is a product of our becoming attached to our assigned services. If we become attached to our assigned services, we will become attached to the lotus feet of Prabhupada. And if we become attached to Prabhupada, that is Bhakti Yoga. And that attachment to Prabhupada and that kind of Bhakti Yoga, what it will do? It will lead to Brahma Siddhi. It will lead to perfection of our spiritual life. On the other hand, if we don't have that attachment for our service, somehow I have to find some shortcut, finish it off, and dump it on somebody else's head. Why I should do this thing I have to do? Catch somebody. Hey, you do this and run away. They are not bothered. Somehow I have to finish it off. And somebody, the temple commander will call and tell, Are, this thing you are supposed to do, why you did not do? Ha, Prabhu, I told that devotee, he didn't do. So, where is attachment? If you have attachment to your service, you will be very conscious that okay, you might assign it to someone else also, but you will follow up, you will ensure that it is completed, the task is completed. Prabhu, I told him, no, he should do. No, he did not do. You question him. Why are you questioning me? That means you have no attachment for your service. And if you don't have attachment for your service, attachment to Prabhupada won't come. And if you are not attached to Prabhupada, there is no Brahma Siddhi. This is the reality. So you see how Prabhupada has designed the whole thing. So wonderfully Prabhupada has created this institution of ISKCON, where there is a hierarchy, there is a system. You come here. If you come to ISKCON, no other temple you go, you have this system. You come to a temple, you come to one of the ISKCON temples, what happens? Some devotee will meet you and he will engage you in some service or the other. And that service actually, if you become attached to that service, what will happen? You will develop your attachment for the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. And if you develop attachment to Prabhupada, perfection is guaranteed. Such a scientific thing it is. Only thing is, what happens is, we don't understand the importance of our assigned services. And we think it becomes dreary. Because every day some assigned service is there. So we think, what is this? Every day something or other I have to keep doing. Somehow I have to finish it. No, it is not a mundane activity. It is designed to generate attachment for the lotus feet of Prabhupada. That is the whole system that Prabhupada has instituted. So our sadhana, morning sadhana, combined with our assigned services, if we stick to these, then automatically we'll become attached more and more. The more we follow this, the more we become attached to our service, the more we will develop our attachment to Prabhupada. And the more you become attached to Prabhupada, you will see your attachment for Krishna will also grow. So, if we want to become simple thing, we don't have to break our head too much of Siddhanta, philosophy, all these things. Simply become attached to our assigned service. This is my service, that ownership has to come, that attachment has to come. If you develop that attachment, over Krishna Prema is guaranteed. So I'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.